a visitor like you, but I had to go into the Project Open Zoom account to start the class. And that's why you had trouble, because no host was there to open it.
Right.
Evan would have been the host.
Right.
But can I tell you what the title is? It's Thought Process in
Thought
Chess
Process.
and Business,
Okay.
not brain process, thought process.
Sorry. Alan is a neurologist.
Okay. Awesome. So I mean, I can give you my approach. Is probably a little bit different than Evan. He's got his own perspective and lecture on business, and he does a lot of corporate classes. But I mean, the way I look at chess, what it enhances in people, besides spatial understanding, besides memory, it also enhances people's ability to think hard about a choice and commit and accept the consequences of your actions, right? So in life we rarely have second chances, right? So it's similarly in chess. I guess people do ask for a take back if they do a really bad move, but it's generally not considered to be the standard. Most times you make a bad move, accept the consequences, and you lose the game, you try again. You learn from your mistakes, right? Just like in life, right? You make mistakes, and it's every choice is a learning process, right? So in chess, one thing that is a common refrain is you either win or you learn, right? And just as it is in life and in business, right? You can make a bad business deal, lose some money, but in the end it'll be a lesson, right? And I mean truly, most businesses fail anyway. So most businesses that start up will fail, and so successful people have failed many times, right? So similarly, if you want to improve in chess, you got to accept defeat many times. I think that's something that a lot of kids have a difficulty with accepting. Kids get really invested in winning and everything, and they start crying and everything, but you got to say, you got to continue, you got to persevere, you got to practice, you got to study, you want to improve. This is how you improve at anything, right? Any hobby, any skill, right? You need to dedicate yourself and persevere. So is there anything specific that you wanted me to go into, or yeah, what are your thoughts? What's everyone's thoughts?
Well,
does that all make
says,
sense? Yeah. Like, what do you think, guys?
I thought the lecture would be more detailed about that, and examples or something that would explain chess in relation to life. I mean, not just the generalities, but maybe experiences, problems. I don't know what he had planned to say.
I'm not sure what he had planned either. He called me last minute. I don't know. So he's not able to make it. So he asked me to step in real quick.
Well, I would be inclined to say thank you, but if you can't deliver that lecture and you weren't prepared,
I mean that's his thing.
Maybe we should just close it. Do the others agree? There are just three.
I mean, do you have any questions? You want me to discuss?
I struggled so much to get in. I want to hear a lecture.
Oh, okay. Let's do what he's prepared to do then. Yeah. Barbara, is that okay?
Yeah.
So everybody.
So do you want me to go into the specifics of chess and go to the basics like that? Is that okay with you guys? With everyone?
Do you know anything about thought processes?
I mean, how it acts? I mean, I'm talking about thought processes in chess. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's okay with everyone? Okay. All right. So
you should be able to share the screen
now. Share. No, I can't share. I think, is someone sharing? I'm not able. It's not letting me.
No, I just.
Let me see here.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I think I see.
Right. Did you get it? There it is.
Everybody can see my screen, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So this is the basic position, the basic opening position. So in this opening position, the pawns are in the second rank, and the white pawns are in the second rank. Black pawns are in the seventh rank, right? And by the way, does everybody know chess notation? Everybody familiar with that? How to write, how to read chess notation, how to write, like for example, you see these letters down here: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then you have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these,
H5 or something, yeah.
so these would be the ranks, right? First rank, second, third rank, fourth rank, all the way up to eighth rank, right? And then these would be the files: A file, B file, C file, all the way to H file, right? And so using these, we can read out the coordinates of the moves and the pieces. So, okay. So now in this opening position, which pawn do you all think is the weakest? What do you guys think? Which pawn out of all these pawns, which one would be the weakest? What do you guys think?
Weakest in what respect?
So
Weakest
I guess
because
the most vulnerable, we'll say. How about that?
It's probably the one that's in front of the king.
So E2. So yeah. So if you could, you call it the coordinate, that'd be great. So E2.
Yeah.
So let's look at all of them now, for example. So A2 pawn, how many pieces are protecting the A2 pawn?
One.
That's the whole
The
row.
rook, right. How many pieces protecting the B2 pawn?
A C.
The bishop, right?
ABC.
Good, bishop, yeah.
Yeah, the bishop.
And the C2 pawn, how many pieces?
The B, the horse.
The queen.
No.
Horse moves like this, right?
Oh, the queen.
Yeah,
right. The queen.
the queen,
is
right.
protecting.
So how about the D2 pawn? How many pieces are protecting that?
Oh, the queen and the bishop.
The queen, bishop, what else? There's more.
Well, actually, the king too. The king.
The
could
king,
get,
and one
king-
more, and one more.
yeah. One more. Okay, the horse. The
knight.
yeah.
Yeah,
the
so
knight.
we have 4 pieces protecting the D2 pawn, so this is well protected. How about the
Yeah.
E2 pawn?
The bishop is protecting it. The queen is protecting it, and I guess
Good.
the king as well.
And one more.
One more, the horse, the
knight.
rook, the whatever it's called, knight. Yeah.
The knight, yeah. Good. And what about the F2 pawn?
The F2 pawn, the king and the king and just the king.
Just the king, very good. And the G2 pawn?
G2 pawn, the bishop is protecting him.
The bishop, very good. And the A2 pawn, H2 pawn?
The rook.
The rook, right. So now, given all that, would you change your mind as to which is the weakest? What do you think?
In the end,
Say again?
the ones on the ends.
So the A2 pawn and the H2 pawn, right?
Hmm.
No. So okay, let me ask you another question. Which piece is, so there's a difference between the most powerful piece and the most valuable piece. So which is the most powerful piece?
The peons.
No, the pawns are actually the weakest, or the
Okay,
least
sorry,
valuable.
The most powerful piece is the queen.
Good. So the pawns are the least powerful. The queen is the most powerful. So in terms of points, everybody know like the point system, how much each of the pieces are worth in terms of points?
No.
Okay, so the pawns would be 1 point each. Okay, and the knights would be 3 points. The bishops would be 3 points. So knights and bishops roughly equal. These are called minor pieces. Rooks worth 5 points. The queen is worth 9 points. So the queen and the rooks are considered major pieces. And then the king has like infinite amount of points because if you lose the king, you lose the game. So there's no real point system for him. So we would say the queen is the most powerful piece, but the king is the most valuable piece, right? So you can lose your queen and still win the game. You can be down material and still win, right? The goal is checkmate. The goal is not to get, this is something that's funny with a lot of beginners, especially kids. Their goal is just to capture all their opponent's pieces. And then after they do that, they have no idea what to do. So, and then, their opponent only has 1 king and they have a whole army. And then what usually happens is they stalemate their opponent because they just moving pieces around. They don't know what to do. And they have so many pieces on the board. that they easily stalemate and they draw, right? So the goal is not stalemate. The goal is checkmate. The goal is not to capture your opponent's pieces. The goal is checkmate, right? And you do that in whichever way possible. All right.
Okay.
So the king is the most valuable piece, and therefore he needs to be protected. So there's 3 phases of the game: opening, middle game, end game. Anybody know the difference between those phases? Like what does the opening consist of? Anybody know?
Aggressive. I don't know.
Say again.
I was thinking an aggressive move or
Aggressive move. Not necessarily. So the opening, there's 3 general goals in the opening. The opening is you want to control the center. So the center would be E4, D4, E5, D5. This would be the center. You want to control the center. You want to develop your pieces. You know what that means? What does that mean? Develop your pieces. Anybody have an idea?
So
Bring
move
them out.
Yeah, bring them out.
Right, right. So here they're doing nothing, right? So we want to bring them out to
Right.
locations where they're active and productive, right? So so that's development, right? And then third goal in the opening is to castle or bring our king to safety, right? So when we
Right.
open up the center, the king becomes kind of open, and that's dangerous for our king. So we want to bring him and castle. Everybody know this move, castling, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So we want to castle. You can castle king side or queen side. Doesn't really matter. The idea is you want to castle behind a shelter, a pawn shelter, right? And that protects your king.
Mhm.
So in the opening and the middle game is basically where like a lot of the attacking and violence happens. So it's very, very aggressive, the middle game. And so the king is a very valuable piece. He doesn't make a good protecting piece. So the F pawn is the only one that's only protected by the king. Therefore, the F pawn would be considered to be the weakest, right? So does everybody know the fastest checkmate that's possible in chess? Anybody know? It's 2-move
No.
checkmate. 2 moves and you can checkmate your opponents the fastest. And it kind of illustrates how weak the F pawn is, and more specifically, this diagonal, the E1 to H4 diagonal, very, very weak. And so if white does sufficiently bad moves, black can capitalize on this and checkmate very quickly. So the first bad move would be F4, opening up the diagonal, right? E1 to H4. Second move would be, or sorry, so this is the first move for white. This is the first move for black, okay? E6 would be the first move for black. Second horrible move for white would be G4. And now black to move. Where's checkmate in 1 move? Does anybody see it?
Yes, if you take the pawn of the black pawn and put it on 4.
For what?
For H.
The black
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
you mean the queen?
Queen.
Good. Queen.
Yes.
Very good.
Queen,
Queen
yes.
is
Yes.
and now the king is in check. Now, how do we
That's it.
assess whether something is check or checkmate? Now, there's a little mnemonic that I like to use with my students, which is CPR, right? In normal life, CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, is used to save someone's life, right? And so in chess,
Yeah.
it's used to save your king's life. So
Okay.
CPR in chess stands for capture, protect, run. So this is how we figure out if we're in check or checkmate. Now, the question is capture. Can we capture this queen?
Can we capture this queen?
The black queen, yeah. Can we capture the black queen?
Not right now.
Yeah, so no, yeah, we can. So on this move, we can't capture the black queen. So now protect or block. Can we block this check? Can we interpose one of our pieces to block the queen check?
Yeah, we could put the bishop there. No, we can't. I'm sorry.
No, bishop, remember, goes on diagonals, right? This is a light square bishop. So yeah,
Right,
so knight goes here and here. So knight cannot block. So we cannot
block it.
We cannot block. We
We
cannot
cannot
capture.
block it.
And now run.
That's right.
Can the king run away from this check?
No.
Yeah, he can't. He's blocked by his
By
own pieces.
castle.
He's blocked by his own
Right.
pieces, and the only square he can run to is F2, which he would still be in check by the queen.
That's right.
Therefore, this
Right.
is checkmate, right? This is called
This is checkmate.
this is checkmate. This is called fool's mate, right? Because apparently only fools fall for it. Fool's mate. So I give you another variation of this. So F4.
Could you go over the moves again? that you
Yeah,
made?
sure. So the basic fool's mate, F4, right? Opening of the E1 to H4 diagonal, right? Weakening the king. And then E6 is a good move, opening up the bishop as well as the queen, right? And now G4. Now, so if G4 was a key move, right? If let's say white does this, this would no longer be checkmate. Why?
If you move the pawn, you mean?
If instead of moving G4, instead of that, white does knight C3. Now queen H4 is no longer checkmate. Why?
King can be, no. Oh,
No. Hmm.
Why is it no longer checkmate?
If you move the horse, it's no longer checkmate. Why?
Yeah. So this queen check right now is check, but it's not checkmate. So what can white do now?
Well, white can move
What can white do?
the pawn 9, move it to 9-3.
G3, you mean, right? Right. So
The
G3,
sorry.
yeah. So G3, white can block the check, and so this is no longer checkmate, right? So the key weakening move is G4, right? Because pawn moves, pawns are special, right? In the sense that every move that you make with a pawn is permanent, right? You cannot go backwards, right? With pawns, they're the only piece that cannot go backwards, right? Every other piece can go backwards. So every time you make a pawn move, you should think very carefully, is this going to create weaknesses, right? Every pawn move creates weaknesses. So G4 definitely weakens this diagonal, and now black capitalizes on that with queen H4, delivering a checkmate. All right. So that's
what is castling?
Oh, what is castling? All right. So
Yes.
let's go over castling. What is castling? All right. Good question. All right. So I'm just going to use this is a one moment. Let's see here. Clear. All right. All right. So we're just taking white's moves here. So what happens when castling is, so let's say you didn't move your king and you didn't move this rook, right? Now you can go here, you move the king onto, so castling is very special, right? Castling is the only time that two pieces are moved at the same time. Every other time, only one piece can be moved at a time. So castling is where two pieces move simultaneously, right? So normally the king can move how many squares? One square, right? In any direction. Normally the king can move one square. But castling is special.
Right.
So castling, you move 2 squares over, and then automatically when you do this, the computer will automatically bring the other rook here. This would be king side castling, right? And then queen side castling would be the exact same thing, except to the queen side. So you move the king 2 squares over, and the rook comes over. That's queen side castling. Now, there's a few benefits to this. Number one, you would typically have pawns that say here, and here. So this would be pawn shelter, pawn safety right here. And at the same time, you're activating this rook, right? Here, the rook was not doing anything, blocked by his own piece. But now the rook has an open file, right? Rooks are very powerful in the open files. So also that's one reason. Another reason is you are connecting the rooks, right? Rooks are very powerful when they're connected. They're protecting each other, so they strengthen each other, right? So, so this would be castling queen side, and then that would be castling king side. So, okay, so let's go back. So let me show you on the board. I'll show you how it looks on the board. So I'm just gonna make some random moves just to show you castling. All right. This is just a sample game, just to give you an idea. Okay, let's see here. Okay, So we'll do one more. Okay. All right. So here, it's white's move. No, sorry, it's white. No, okay, now it's white's move. So now white has a chance. Now see, I click on the king. Now I can either castle king side or queen side. I have the choice, right? If I move this rook and then I moved it back, even if I moved it back to the home square, I still could not castle this side. I couldn't castle anymore. So you can only castle to the side where you did not move your king and you did not move your rook. If I move my king up one square or over here, one square, and then I move it back to the original square, it doesn't matter. Now I forfeited my right to castle completely, right? So both pieces need to have not moved, right? So let's say I castle here. So I put it on this G1 square, I could even put it on top of my rook and it will castle immediately, right? Like that. So same thing happens if I do on the right side. You can put it on C1 or on top of the rook, doesn't matter. And there it castles immediately, right? So that's castling. You can only do castling once per game, right? Only once. So it's a very good move to do to bring your king to safety, right? Because as you can see, this is a lot of open spaces and the king is in danger when there's too much open spaces that way, right? All right. Is there any other questions with that?
But the king,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Go ahead. Any questions? Go ahead.
no.
Okay, you good? Okay. Okay, so I'll show you a variation. There's a variation of the fool's mate, just to show you a different way to do it. So F4 would be the first move, and then E5. So black is sacrificing a pawn here, right? And then D6, he lures the pawn again, sacrificing another pawn for a lead in development, right? So now black has a developed bishop and white has no development. Now, if he goes knight, let's say a random move, knight C3. So now this is in this position, there's checkmate in 3 moves, forced checkmate in 3 moves. Does anybody see it? What do you think?
You mean the blacks are gonna, the blacks are going to checkmate the whites, okay?
Yeah. So black to move, a forced checkmate in 3 moves. What do you think?
In 3 moves.
Yeah.
Well, the
Say again?
I could put the horse, I could move it to to move the horse to F3. And that'll protect the
oh, no,
king, and
no,
it'll also,
it's black's move though.
no, oh, sorry.
Yeah, black's move.
All right.
So
It's
forced.
black's move. Oh, it's
Yeah.
black's move.
Yeah. Forced
Oh, it's
checkmate
black's move.
in 3 moves. What do you think?
Okay, I could take the bishop and move the bishop. Well, no, that would be silly because I was going to say I could move the bishop to G3, but that would be silly because the pawn would eat him
Yeah.
up right away.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be good. Yeah. Any other moves? What do you think? Anybody else have an idea?
Any other move?
What do you think? Forced.
What about your,
Say again?
what about the original queen
Yeah.
for,
H4.
what is it,
To 4
H4?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So always the letters and then the numbers. So yeah, queen H4, very good. Check.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
white only has 1 move, which is what?
Which is the pawn 9-3.
G3.
So 9-3.
G3,
Which
right?
is G3. Yeah.
On the G3.
Yeah, it looks
Okay,
like
so
it.
now, yeah, I know it looks like a 9. Okay, so now, what do you think best move for black here? Because now it's a checkmate in 2
Well,
moves.
The
Okay.
bishop takes a pawn.
Okay, bishop takes the pawn, and then pawn
Yeah,
takes, and
but
now
then
what?
the other,
Now what?
Then the queen
the other
takes the
pawn.
pawn.
Very good. Checkmate. Very good. Very good. So similar checkmate. Another way we can do it is this diagonal is so weak that we can even sacrifice the queen here. Queen takes G3, H takes G3, bishop takes, and it's still checkmate. Nothing that white can do to get out of this checkmate, right? So yeah, I like doing this. You know, chess is not only about logic and it's not only about calculation. It's also about beauty. Chess is beauty, is poetry, is art, right? So you got to make make some beauty while we're playing chess as well. Very important. So this is a beautiful checkmate. So just
Yeah.
illustrating the idea
Yeah.
of do not weaken this
Yeah.
diagonal, E1 to H4 diagonal. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so that's the lesson for today. So Evan also wanted me to let you all know that I put the link in the chat. Did you all see it? I put a link in the chat about he offers spring adult classes, virtual classes, just like this, for all levels. You know, rookie, beginner, advanced, intermediate, all different kinds of levels. And I actually teach. I teach the adult beginner class, which is like Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, so
You teach it on Zoom?
yeah, over Zoom, yeah. So yeah, so I similar to this, but I go into detail about a lot of other chess concepts. And so yeah, so I sent you all the link, and if you're interested in that, you can look at the I think it's, let me see here, March, yeah, 11. Okay, so 11 classes, yeah. So there's 11 classes, and the first class starts next week. Yeah. So this week is the last week. So next week starts the spring session. So if any of you are interested in that, you can look over that website and check it out. See if that interests you. A lot of great adults.
And the prices for all of the prices?
So the price is down here. Let's see here.
Ah.
$275 for 11 weeks, right?
Mhm.
If you say, okay, so yeah. Oh, I guess he offers a discount if you sign up for like 2 different types of classes, but yeah. So so was that too easy or too hard for you all, or was that just right?
Oh, that was just right.
That's good. Okay, good. So yeah, so I teach the adult beginner class on Wednesday nights. So if you're interested, and I'm over here just to let you know, I'm number right here, adult beginner,
Mhm.
right? That's me, Danilo Cuellar, Monday, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. All right.
Mhm. Okay.
All right. So yeah, great meeting you all.
Great, thank you.
And
Thank you. Thank
perhaps
you for standing in, and thank Evan for sending you.
no problem. You're most welcome. All right. Hope you have a wonderful day.
You too.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I think I can close the meeting, or you can. I'm
I can
not
close
sure.
it. I can close it.
Okay.
All right.
Lois, thanks a lot for
No problem.
stepping through.
You're most welcome. Take care.